Three big stories every Chelsea fan needs to read today: a semi-final that could turn ugly, a star player in the cold, and the one that got away. This is a big week for Chelsea, and there is a lot to talk about. Right now, being a Chelsea fan feels like riding a roller coaster with no seatbelt. One moment you are watching the team crush Port Vale 7-0 in the FA Cup. The next moment you are reading that your best midfielder has been banned by his own club for talking about Madrid on a podcast. And somewhere in the middle of all that, a semi-final against Leeds is coming up fast, and the police are already nervous about it. So today, we are going to break everything down in simple terms. No jargon, no complicated football talk, just honest analysis of what is going on at Stamford Bridge and what it all means for us as fans. Grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let us get into it. 1. FA Cup. Leeds at Wembley. Why police are already worried. When the FA Cup semi-final draw was made and Chelsea were paired with Leeds United, the first reaction for most of us was excitement. Wembley, a semi-final, a chance to go all the way. What could be better than that? But behind the scenes, there are people whose job it is to think about everything that can go wrong, and for them, this particular fixture comes with a very long history that is hard to ignore. The rivalry, nobody is pretending, does not exist. Let us be honest about something. Chelsea and Leeds have one of the most loaded, complicated, and sometimes dangerous rivalries in English football. Go back to the 1970s and 1980s and you will find stories that most people would rather forget. The Chelsea headhunters and the Leeds service crew were two of the most feared football firms in the country. These were not just groups of fans who did not like each other. These were organized groups who actively looked for trouble, and they found it many times. Now, that was decades ago. Football has changed, society has changed, and it is important to say that the recent meetings between the two clubs have passed off without any serious incidents at all. When Leeds brought 6,000 fans to Stamford Bridge in February for the Premier League fixture, there was nothing to report. The game at Elland Road before Christmas was also fine, but a Premier League game on a regular Saturday is one thing. An FA Cup semi-final at Wembley is something else entirely. The stakes are higher, the emotions run deeper, and thousands more fans will be involved. Leeds are expected to receive a ticket allocation of 32,000 for the semi-final, but club officials know there is a very real chance that even more supporters will travel to London without tickets. Policing concern, Mirror Sport report. That is what makes this complicated. You cannot just plan for the people inside the stadium, you have to think about everyone around it too. West Yorkshire Police and the Metropolitan Police are already in conversation about how to manage the day. Extra officers will be deployed, plans are being made, to the Chelsea community. Do you think the policing concerns around this game are being blown out of proportion, or do you think it is right to take this seriously given the history between the two clubs? What this means for Leeds as a club. Here's something that is easy to overlook in all the security talk. This is Leeds United's first FA Cup semi-final in 39 years. Think about that for a moment, 39 years. Their last two trips to Wembley before this were for games against Southampton and Doncaster, low-stakes games in a very different era of football. This is a completely different thing. This is massive for their club and their fans. Leeds fans have waited decades for a moment like this, and it is only natural that a large number of them are going to want to be there, ticket or no ticket. That is not an excuse for any trouble, but it does explain why the numbers could be hard to manage. Daniel Farke is playing the underdog card. Leeds manager Daniel Farke has already been speaking about the draw, and he is doing something quite smart. He is leaning into the underdog role completely. He said his team will definitely be the underdog, pointing to Chelsea as a big name with a squad full of top players, but he also reminded people that nobody expected Leeds to be in the semi-finals at all. And then he said something that should give Chelsea fans a reason to take this seriously. He said Leeds are greedy to go to the next step. That is not the talk of a manager who is happy just to be there. Farke has built a Leeds side that is well organized, hard to beat, and very capable of causing upsets on big occasions. They beat West Ham in a dramatic quarterfinal to get here. They are not just making up the numbers. Your prediction. Honestly, how confident are you that Chelsea gets past Leeds at Wembley? Is this a comfortable win, or are you a little bit nervous about it? 39 years since Leeds' last semi, 32K Leeds ticket allocation, 6K Leeds fans at Stamford Bridge in Feb. The bottom line here is that Chelsea should have enough quality to win this game. On paper, on current form, and in terms of squad depth, Chelsea are the stronger side. But semi-finals at Wembley are not played on paper. Atmosphere, pressure, big moments, and individual errors decide these games. And if Farke gets his team set up correctly, this could be a very uncomfortable afternoon. Chelsea need to be ready, mentally and tactically. The history of this fixture means the game will already have a certain edge to it. The crowd will be loud and intense from the first minute. There will be no room for a slow start or a casual approach. Squad news: the Enzo Fernandez situation just got very complicated. If you follow Chelsea closely, you will know that the Enzo Fernandez story has been hanging over the club for a few weeks now, but in the last few days, it has taken a new turn that changes things quite a bit. Let us go back to the start so everyone is on the same page. What actually happened? During the recent international break, Enzo Fernandez appeared on a podcast and said something that set off alarm bells at Stamford Bridge. He said he would like to live in Madrid. Now, that might sound like a small thing. People say they like cities all the time. But in the world of football, when a player is linked with Real Madrid and then publicly says he wants to live in their city, it means something. Chelsea took it seriously. Head coach Liam Rosenior said the decision to hand Fernandez a two-match ban was made by everyone at the club. That included the owners, the sporting directors, and even the players themselves. This was not just one man making a call. This was a collective decision that Fernandez had crossed a line. The ban meant he missed the 7-0 FA Cup win over Port Vale, and it also means he is set to miss what could be one of Chelsea's most important Premier League games of the season against Manchester City. Chelsea teammates have changed their minds and are now asking Rosenior to lift the ban so Fernandez can play in the City game. They see him as essential for that match. Reports via Chelsea Wire analysis why the dressing room has changed its mind. This is where it gets interesting. When the ban was first announced, we were told the players were part of that decision. They supported the club's stance. They understood why it was happening. But now, with the Manchester City game coming up, opinions have shifted. Fernandez's teammates are now reportedly going to Rosenior and asking him to lift the suspension. Why? Because they know what Fernandez brings to the team. Against a side as technically strong as Manchester City, you need your best players available. And for many people at this Chelsea squad, Fernandez is one of those players. There is also another element to this. Fernandez showed up to the Port Vale game even though he was banned. He sat behind the bench and watched. He supported his teammates from the stands. That gesture has clearly meant a lot to the people inside the dressing room. It showed that whatever he said on that podcast, he still cares about this club and this group of players. The big debate. Should Rosenior lift the ban for the Man City game, or would doing that send the wrong message about standards and discipline at the club? Rosenior is walking a tightrope. Right now, think about the position Liam Rosenior is in here. On one side, he has a group of players asking him to bring back a teammate for a crucial game. That is not easy to ignore. These are the people in the dressing room. Their unity and trust in the manager matters enormously. On the other side, if Rosenior lifts the ban too quickly, what does that say to every other player at the club? It could send the message that rules only apply until the game gets important enough. It could suggest that certain players are untouchable and above the agreed standards. That is dangerous territory for any manager trying to build a culture of accountability. Rosenior has already tried to thread this needle carefully. He has confirmed that Fernandez will keep his vice-captaincy. He has kept him in the leadership group. He said he would not strip anything from the player because he does not deserve that level of punishment. So the message is, you made a mistake. You are serving the consequence, but you are still one of us. Whether he takes the extra step of cutting the ban short is a decision that will tell us a great deal about how Rosenior operates as a manager. The contract picture makes this more complicated. And then there is the contract situation sitting underneath all of this like a slow leak. Enzo Fernandez is under contract at Chelsea until 2032. Chelsea paid £107 million for him. The club rates him as one of the best midfielders in the world. They want to extend his deal, and they are reportedly willing to offer him better terms. But talks have stalled. His agent had meetings with the club in December and January, and they went nowhere. The agent has said the terms were not right for a player at Fernandez's current level. He has also said that if Chelsea cannot meet the demands, they will look at other options after the World Cup. Your honest view. If Fernandez is quietly thinking about his future elsewhere, is keeping him as vice-captain and in the leadership group the right thing to do? Or is Chelsea being too soft here? Sources close to Fernandez are insisting that his priority is to stay at Chelsea if the club meets his financial demands. And Chelsea's position is that they believe he is worth more than £100 million and they are not selling. So on the surface, both sides say they want the same thing. But the fact that talks broke down once already is a warning sign that should not be dismissed. The next few months, especially around the World Cup period, could be decisive for Fernandez's future at the club. Chelsea fans will be hoping the deal gets done quietly and the Madrid noise fades away. But nothing in football is ever that simple. 107M fee Chelsea paid in pounds. 2032 current contract end. 2-match ban handed to Fernandez. Transfer watch. Rayan Cherki is destroying it at City. Chelsea let him go. We need to talk about Rayan Cherki. Not because it is a comfortable conversation. It is not. But because it is the kind of story that Chelsea fans deserve to sit with and think about honestly. Who is Rayan Cherki and why does it hurt? Rayan Cherki is a 22-year-old French attacking midfielder who now plays for Manchester City. This season, he has scored 10 goals and provided 12 assists. He is one of the best players in the Premier League right now. His City teammates cannot stop talking about him. Antoine Semenyo described him as one of the world's best after the 4-0 FA Cup win over Liverpool that sent City through to the semi-finals. City signed him from Olympique Lyon for just €36.5 million. That is not a typo. One of the best young attacking midfielders in Europe went for €36.5 million because his contract at Lyon was about to run out and he was available at a cut price. And Chelsea could have had him. Chelsea were reportedly close to signing Cherki in 2023. Talks were progressing and the player was keen on joining, but Chelsea pulled out over reported concerns about his attitude. Transfer sources via Chelsea Wire, the decision that still stings. It is important to be fair here and say that every club makes decisions based on information available at the time. Nobody knew for certain in 2023 exactly how Turkey would develop. Players with talent sometimes do not reach their potential. Concerns about attitude or character are not always wrong. But the evidence we have now suggests that whoever raised those concerns about Turkey's attitude was mistaken. Here is a player who has come into one of the most demanding environments in world football under Pep Guardiola and absolutely thrived. That is not what happens when someone has attitude problems. That is what happens when someone is properly motivated and professionally focused. The rumors of a Chelsea move for Turkey did not just stop in 2023. The links continued into 2024 and 2025. There were apparently multiple opportunities for Chelsea to revisit the situation. Each time, a deal never got done. And now Turkey is at City, playing brilliantly and helping them try to stop Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-finals alongside other opponents this season. The Cole Palmer angle adds a twist. There is one extra detail that makes this story even more complicated for Chelsea fans to process. Turkey plays as a number 10. He is most effective in a central attacking midfield role, and that happens to be exactly the position occupied by Chelsea's own Cole Palmer, who is himself one of the best players in England right now. So you could argue that even if Chelsea had signed Turkey, they might have ended up with a squad issue. Two outstanding number 10s who both need to be central to the team's play is a problem most clubs would dream of having, but it is still a problem. Palmer might even have left if Turkey had arrived. What do you think? If Chelsea had signed Turkey in 2023 and Palmer was still at the club, how do you think Rosenyor would have managed both of them? Could they have played together? But here's the thing about that argument. Manchester United were also interested in Turkey. A number of clubs wanted him. City moved fastest, paid the right price, and trusted him, and they are being rewarded for that now. Chelsea spent years signing players in bulk, some of whom barely played. If the attitude concerns about Turkey were based on solid evidence, fair enough, but if they were based on rumor, caution, or poor scouting, then this will go down as one of the more expensive missed opportunities in the club's recent history. What it tells us about Chelsea's recruitment. The Turkey situation is one data point, and one data point does not tell the whole story of a transfer department, but it does raise a question that Chelsea fans are well within their rights to ask. How many times have the Blues passed on the right player for the wrong reason? There is a culture at many big clubs where the fear of getting it wrong leads to a kind of paralysis. You wait for certainty that never comes. You raise concerns that may or may not be valid. You watch someone else take the risk and then watch that risk pay off. Chelsea, under their current ownership, have spent extraordinary amounts of money on players. That spending has not always been efficient. That is a fact that most honest supporters will acknowledge. So the question is not whether Chelsea can afford to spend. It is whether they are spending with the right judgment. Looking ahead. Do you think Chelsea's recruitment team has improved enough to avoid making the same kind of miss again? Or are there structural problems that need to be fixed first? 36.5 euros City, paid for Turkey. 10 goals for City this season. 12 assists this season. Final word. Chelsea, this is your moment. 3 stories. 3 very different feelings. A semi-final that brings excitement and anxiety in equal measure. A dressing room drama that will test the manager's authority. And a reminder that the decisions made in quiet offices can echo loudly for years. But here's what all of this really tells us. Chelsea is a club that matters. These stories are not small ones. They are about real decisions, real consequences, and real stakes. And the fact that we are all still watching, still debating, and still invested means that no matter what happens, we are not going anywhere. The semi-final at Wembley is on April 25th or 26th. Enzo Fernandez's situation will be resolved one way or another in the next few days. And Rayan Cherki will continue being brilliant at City, reminding us of roads not taken. So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us how you see the Leeds game going. Tell us whether Rosenyor should lift the ban. Tell us how angry the Cherki miss makes you. This community exists because every Chelsea fan has something worth saying. Come and say it. Keep the blue flag flying high.